and a very warm welcome to, the match preview. Ipswich, we've got Palace there, look. We need to change that. Don't worry about what's on the bottom of the screen. Me and him have been chatting. And usually the Lord and Master himself does that. So I'm gonna be changing that in a second. Do you know how to do it, Win?
Nope.
Okay, I'll do it in a second. Not to worry. When we obviously we're not we're just not ready, are we? When we have a look in a second at the match preview, and then apologies, because like I say, we're just not ready at all. I've only literally just got online and realised that poor Win here was on his own. Listen, before we get into the show and a look at the game ahead on Saturday, let's do all the housework. Welcome to everybody watching across all the platforms. Thanks to all the mods working in the background. Don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoy the show. Just helps us get further as a channel. Subscribe, it's totally free. Hit that bell for future content. And if you want to help us grow, you can become a member for a small monthly fee. Different levels to choose from. Pick and choose what you like. If you like everything, fantastic. Don't forget to have a look at our webpage, NUFC.tv, for all up-to-date news and content. Lots of stories out there, but we won't put it on there unless we get it from a decent source. It's totally ad-free. Again, if you've got 5 minutes, then it's a great place to go and have a look at some news. If you've got a question for me or Win during the show, then obviously just throw a Q in front of that question. It just helps us highlight it. Not guaranteed, by the way. So if you want to guarantee it out there in viewerland, then obviously follow the $sign, throw us a super chat, and we will stop everything we're doing, and we'll thank you. All new members, obviously, through the show, and anybody that wants to gift a membership will be thanked and highlighted as we go. Right then, mate. I'm going to be Oh, you've done it. You've took it off. But you need to do that though and move it across.
Yeah,
but what's happened to it?
Blown it now. It's disappeared completely.
Oh my days! He's gonna have you. You know that, don't you? he's gonna come after you. Anyway, as Win has completely knackered me overlay up, which is what I was going to do, I won't bother. How are you, mate? You good?
Yeah, I'm good. As good as you can be, as ever.
Absolutely.
After a bad weekend.
Yeah. I mean,
but I had a splendid St. George's Day yesterday. So
I was just going to say to you.
I'm just about recovering from that.
Yeah, exactly. What I mean, was you out for a really good session? Are you? One of those? The DX, the mighty DX, is also joining us. There you go. Welcome along.
Oh,
DX.
Hey, that looks like a big bedhead.
Which one?
I'm going to say, the one behind you, mate. Yeah. I'm not going to say what you get up to on that thing.
You don't want to
know. Here we go. Well, luckily, it's past the watershed time, so we're okay. It's really funny because a lot of the stories that you're reading now, it was all doom and gloom. And yet, it's one game in umpteen that we've lost. We were having a chat on our background chat show, and it seems apparent these days, especially this season, that we're obviously not a team of drawers anymore. He actually goes out to win many games. And unfortunately, by doing that, we do leave ourselves wide open to concede the odd goal. And by doing that, there's always a chance of losing the game. And that's what we've done more this season than we've done anything else. A couple of seasons ago, there was a lot of draws that obviously blocked our way or our progress. Last season, we very mixed, up and down type of season, finishing 7th. This year, obviously, now we've dropped to 5th, but a win against Ipswich, and we climb again to 3rd. So it's still in our hands, and that's all you can do. But is it something that's changed, do you think, this season? Is it the fact that now we are looking more to win games than it is just to get the points and take it away and be happy?
Well, it would certainly appear that way because, we've drawn less games this season than ever before. But the league table, as I mentioned in the forum, invariably, almost identically, the league positions are decided on the number of matches won. So with one exception, and that was only a change of 4th and 5th, the team that wins the most games finishes above teams that don't win as many as them. And it would appear to be regardless of the draws. Because some teams have had, like we did in 22-23, we had 10 draws, but it was the number of wins that were had that ended up putting one in 4th position.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's lots of way of looking at it, and like I said, when I started to look at the results, I mean, obviously DX private messaged me, and we were having a chat in the background. But when you look at, there's still certain people that don't really get on board with.
Well, I mean, I put in the
a
chat.
draw is better than a loss.
Yeah. But I said 2 wins and a loss gets you 6 points. 3 draws get you 3 points. And that was countered by, but
I know.
2 wins and a draw gets you 7 points.
Yeah, I know. I mean, this is another one that from Kev.
A win and a loss gets you more than 2 draws. That's the point I'm making.
That's exactly what I was saying. Yeah. The last draw was 3-3 against Liverpool, December the 4th. Yeah. That's crazy, isn't it? That's what I'm saying. When you look at it, 20 wins out of 25, and it's all doom and gloom because we lose against Aston Villa.
Well, it is for some. It's never doom and gloom for me.
No. I still think it's an incredible season. With going through 3 windows without the purchase, and obviously still playing for 3rd place with a Carabao Cup as well, in the bag,
in our back pocket.
What? And it's still bad. I mean, come on. Go on, DX. Give us your views, dude.
What we don't want to do is we don't want to do a Pardew. When we came 5th that season, we had 2 games left. And we said, whatever we get is fine now. We've had a good season, and the players took their foot off the gas.
They capitulated a little bit, didn't they? It was a bit what?
Yeah. No, but I think we've still got a big goal in mind, haven't we? We want to come. We'd be disappointed now if we didn't come in the top 5, even though it would still be a good season, because there's a real opportunity, and the door is, with Villa losing as well, the door is wide open, I think, now to at least Chelsea. And with Chelsea, we've got to play at St James's. We beat them.
That's the key.
That's another big thing. So, I think overall, I've been delighted with the season, but it could be. I think.
What's not to be delighted with? That's what. That's a question I ask.
Would it be the best season? Well, for me, maybe, but the best season I've ever experienced. Even though we came 2nd and 3rd, and even if we came 6th or 7th, because the cup obviously is the big difference. But I think, in terms of where we want to be, we do need to come top 5 to be able to get there quicker.
Absolutely. You see, the way I look at this now is when it's in your hands and you're not relying on other teams to screw up, I think it puts that added little bit of, I don't want to say pressure, but it adds that little bit more to the game, because the lads have got to go out there and obviously, play to win. And I think, this is what I'm saying. You imagine now our last 5 games, we only get 5 points. And I take your point, Kev. We would have all taken a draw at Villa. And I think that's the thing. It's risk and reward. I think, and you made an absolutely superb point the other day. Remember that the Milan game, in the Champions League?
Yeah.
We only needed a draw. You know what I mean?
We needed a draw for Europa.
We needed Europa. Exactly. We needed a draw for Europa.
We were winning, and we needed a draw for Europa.
We needed a win to continue in the Champions League.
Yeah. And the mentality wasn't to take the draw. The mentality was, let's stay in the Champions League. And I still think, and I don't want this to sound as if I wouldn't have taken the draw at Villa. If that's what we ended up doing, then great. You see, and I'm going to throw the shoe on the other foot, if I may. I look at the draw against Everton, where we absolutely dominated but couldn't hit the barn, the barn door.
Missed the penalty, didn't we?
You missed the penalty, and we come away with a point, and it's disappointment. And to me, these are the games, like I say, that will come and potentially haunt you at the end of the season, because wherever you finish at the end of the season is where you deserve.
That's
Because
right. Because
over the 38 games.
every club can look at certain games and say, how did we drop points there?
Absolutely. And I mean, you know, we're playing Ipswich on Saturday, and if you look at their last few games, I mean, you know, they've beaten Bournemouth, who we've struggled against. They've beaten the likes of, well, they've drew against Chelsea, who obviously were struggling on the day, but all had eyes on other competitions and God knows what. And I think that the trouble is now is the fact that, you know, Ipswich are fighting for their lives. Mathematically, they ain't down yet.
I
But I mean,
mean,
come on. You're relying on other teams not to get any points in the last 5
Ipswich are
games.
down.
Of course they are. Of course they are. But they're not
I think they've got
mathematically down.
10
Sorry?
players missing, haven't they, as well? I think they have 10 players out in this game.
Well,
Yeah,
that 20, even if they win every game and West Ham lose every game, they're still 20 goals behind.
Yeah. I
on
mean,
goal difference.
they've even got Leif Davis out. He did us a favour, didn't he? He wanted to sit in the stands and watch.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
he got a red card in the last one.
Yeah, it is a funny one because obviously we all know that we've been really strongly linked with Delap. And obviously, as rumours say, in a clause that he's got in his contract, that if they're relegated, then he comes for 30 million, not the 50+ million.
That's not bad.
Which I think it was something 60 odd million, I think his release clauses. But I mean, is it the fact that on Saturday, and I don't want to count my chickens before they've hatched type of situation, but if Ipswich are down after they lose, do you reckon the checkbook's going to be open before Ipswich leave to go back south?
I wonder if we might offer them Osula on loan. That might be a good mutually agreeable thing, mightn't it? We'll take Delap for 30 million. You can have Osula on loan for the season.
Longstaff.
Lacademos. No, but Osula might be a guy who might do something in the Championship, so he could be a...
Yeah. I mean, it's a shout, isn't it?
Longstaff could certainly do something in the Championship.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he could, but he won't want to play there, will he?
No.
Because I think it's an absolutely ideal situation now to have and to be in when you could be potentially the team that relegates them, mathematically relegates them, and obviously is there at the ground. I mean, surely there's going to be a chance to have a conversation.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, he is...
Come and have a look at the North East, sir, you know.
And he might be happy being sort of like in rotation with Isak or back up to Isak for a year or two.
Well, that's the conversation that would have to take place, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is what we're talking.
Yeah, but don't forget, we've got plenty, you know, regardless of where we finish, and I'm not saying we shouldn't be finishing outside the Champions League, but there's definite Europe this season. So there's plenty of games out there, as well as all the cups and everything else. So there's going to be rotation. I mean, I'll be really disappointed if the rumour that's out there at the moment is that they're going to give Wilson another 12 months.
I had 2 years.
Well, he's asking for 2 years, I believe. I think the club have talked about 12 months potential because I still...
Listen, I love Callum, as everybody knows.
Yeah, and mate. I mean, he's been a stalwart
But
for the
the
club.
only way he gets another contract from me is on a pay-per-play basis.
Like Andy Carroll's contract.
Andy Carroll, yeah.
10 grand a week, another 40 grand if you play.
Yeah,
yeah, absolutely. So let's have a quick reminder of what Ipswich have done over their last umpteen games. So going from Aston Villa, I mean, they got a 1-1 back at Villa Park.
That's a great result.
That is a superb result.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. These guys are no mugs. Tottenham, they lost 4-1 at Ipswich. Man U only just beat them at Old Trafford, but Man United are struggling to beat anybody these days. But they got a draw against Nottingham Forest, 1-1. Got a 1-0 loss against Crystal Palace. Lost to Forest again, 4-2. Then beat Bournemouth 2-1. Lost 2-1 to Wolves. 2-2 at Chelsea. And then obviously the hammering at 4-0 against Arsenal.
Wasn't it, that one? So it seems like maybe their home form's been the problem, not their... Recently, their away form's actually not that bad, is it?
Yeah, they seem to be travelling a lot, like you say, a lot better than they do at home. I mean, we all say it's all about that added pressure when you're at home. But But I don't know. I mean, to me, this could be. I cannot see anything but a win. I mean, like you say, there is a lot of players that are missing. There's a lot of players. I mean, Delap, we know.
Nine players they are missing, you know.
Well,
Yeah.
what's the status of Delap? Because some people are saying he might not be fit to start the game. But
Well, that's well. George Hurst obviously played. Was that against Arsenal?
Arsenal, yeah.
Yeah. Again, you know, Georgie Hurst, the Scottish lad, he played against Arsenal. And again, you know, I can only see that Delap will be the potential starter if he's fit. But again, no, there's no confirmation. Obviously, on Thursday, you're not going to get anything from anywhere to say whether he is. At this present moment in time, all I've seen is doubtful. But that could mean anything. I mean, you know, when you look through their midfield,
I'm just looking at the home and away league tables, and Ipswich are third bottom away.
Yeah.
Second bottom at home, third bottom
Their
away.
recent form is a lot better, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
But if you look at the results, 3 wins. This is this season. 3 wins, 5 draws, and only 8 defeats.
So they've lost half their games away.
Yeah.
Yeah, but only half compared to a lot of other teams. You know, you can
Not
go
bad.
right. You can go right up the table to. Man United have lost 7.
Yeah, I was going to say you wouldn't be
away.
down in the. You wouldn't be down there in the league. if you
Villa
were
have
doing
lost
well.
8 away.
Wow. Yeah, but Villa's form's well, they've
I'm
drawn.
going to say it's Villa Park. It's a fortress, isn't it, for them? It has been for a while. But you know, for us, it seemed to be over the last couple of years. It's certainly something that we've done well at Villa Park in recent years, but not obviously too well.
But yeah, but what you're saying is we shouldn't take it totally for granted, the Ipswich game. We need to. But I think with Eddie back, that's going to help, isn't it? Everyone will be boosted by that. And
Yep.
Well, I think, you know, for me, what Eddie are you going to get though? Are you going to get Eddie in person, or are you going to get Eddie the coach?
Eddie on
Because
the big
obviously,
screen.
if well, you know, when you're recovering from pneumonia, you know, you won't be 100% for a few weeks, and that's what I'm saying. I mean, you know, if Eddie's going to turn up, he's obviously coming for that morale side of things and to try and kick the lads a little bit higher than Tyndall did against Villa. But I don't know. I don't know whether it's, you know, he's coming back to like a knee-jerk reaction. I hope it's not. I hope he's good. I hope it's not a knee-jerk reaction from the result on the weekend.
Well, no doubt that'll be the full.
Thank you, Chris.
No doubt that'll be the full press conference tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think I had the same concerns as you do, actually, with Eddie. I was just wondering if are they just rushing him back a week early just to get him out there to pick everyone up? But surely they wouldn't be that irresponsible. I can't imagine Eddie be like, yeah, come on, Will.
Yeah, but are you going to stop Eddie? I mean, you know, Eddie's a workaholic. We've seen that. You know what I mean? I mean, the lads at work at 6 o'clock in the morning to get in the gym and get prepared for the day ahead. So, you know, we know he's not going to shirk anything. But I don't want him to come back and then, you know, potentially not be at his, you know, at his best. Because sometimes your mindset as a player, if the gaffer's there and not being himself, sometimes can go elsewhere. You know what I mean? I think sometimes when you're not well and players can see you're not well, and we all, and I'm going to go back. Remember when the news broke out about Darren Eales? Our performances dropped through the floor. Now, we can't prove that it was anything to do with that, but sometimes it does have a negative effect when it comes to somebody coming back. Now, obviously, the you know, pneumonia isn't the same as blood cancer. Listen, I know that, but I'm saying, you know, sometimes you as a player, sometimes your mind isn't focused on the job in hand. So it is going to be an interesting one. But you're right. I'm glad to see him back. So I don't think Jason Tyndall handled the Villa very well.
What do you think he did wrong? He just too slow with the subs, or
no, not at all. I think we were lucky to go in the first half 1-1. I think we did well to claw it back. But I think, you know, when you go when you go man-man, and you could see it within the first 30 seconds, hence their deflected goal. It was lucky, but it still went in. You've still got to find yourself in the right places. When you could see that they were isolating Trippier and Shaw with Ollie Watkins, what you get then with Trippier is a lad that's in two minds. You play in the half zone, so you don't go man for man because you're very aware of what Shaw is doing with Ollie Watkins. So you dither. I call it dithering. So you don't go one job, you don't do another job. You're the halfway house. And then what that means then, you've always got a player. And if you look at Martinez, he always has an out into that left hand channel, the inside left position, if you like, either to Watkins or to Rogers or to McGinn. Whoever was playing in that space, there was always an out, and that's where they targeted. A couple of times they went the opposite way, but not
I was
many.
going to say the only one, the only significant one from Martinez actually went to the right.
Well, I don't know, because their first goal came to the left. Their fourth goal came to the left.
I thought we were unfortunate for those goals.
Oh, well,
I'm not disputing, by the way, that they should have had more, but we were very unlucky in two of the goals that were conceded for the deflections kind of thing.
Yeah. What Villa aren't is Liverpool or Man City. That's the one thing that you've got to remember. They haven't got that fluid movement. So if you do a mid-low block, now don't get me wrong, I don't think we're the world's best at holding on to things. We've done it, but I don't think we look comfortable doing it. And I think that's probably the easy out for Eddie or Jason to say, you know what, lads, we don't look good. Let's get the ball as high as we can up the field. Villa, if they play in front of you, it's frustrating. You're quieting the crowd. While the crowd's on a high, you're playing with 12 men. So your team performs to the atmosphere. The team performs because you're beating the player. When you've got a man for man, it's like a boxer. A boxer don't stop if he's winning the opponent. I mean, it takes a lucky punch to put a bloke down if he's dominating you. And that's exactly the same in football. If you're dominating that field, when you concede the other end, it's happened to us. We've had the sucker punch a number of times in the past. And you get deflated. When you're on top and then all of a sudden you get that breakaway goal and you stick it in the net, it deflates you. Now, going in 1-1, like I say, I thought there was an opportunity to come out in that second half and say, you know what, we've been lucky this game. Let's just sit off them, let them play in front of us, draw them on, because they ain't very quick at the back either. You know, Mings isn't quick, Konsa isn't quick. And when, obviously, again, there's talk about Isak not having a great game. And for whatever reason that was, whether he's still carrying this groin and he doesn't want to push himself and obviously be out for the next 5 games. So maybe he is nursing something. But to me, it was an easy out for me against the Villa. Even if you go in and concede 1 goal and you lose 2-1, it certainly doesn't affect your goal difference as much as 4 goals against us by still trying to play the same way. And I think sometimes, you know, you can come out of there and I know there's going to be fans in the chat now that are going to say, no, we need to go for the win. You need to go for the jugular. It doesn't always work that way. And like I say, when you're up against a team who are playing as well as they are at this present moment in time, frustrate them, get the crowd quiet, and then go and beat them. And I think that's what I would have looked at. I certainly didn't think we were in the game at all, trying to do the let's win the ball high up the field.
Yeah, it didn't work, did it?
No. But I like I say, I don't know. I mean, like, you know, we're all managers, you know, during the game. There's 52,000 of us sitting in the stadium most of the weekends that would have done something different. And I think that is the big thing. Right then, before I put on the teams then, Win, I'm going to let you crack on with anything in the chat that you've highlighted. And then, like I say...
Kevin commenting on Wilson, he says, I think with Wilson leaving, we'll need a Sula. Excuse me. With all the games we'll have next year, I can't see us buying 2 strikers this summer. Well, I can't see us buying 2 strikers of any significance here.
Maybe Mbeumo and the striker. That would be all right, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
But
I tell you an interesting one that's risen its head for the first time, to my knowledge, today, is that Jamie Vardy
Yeah, I heard that too.
is out of contract at the end of the season.
yeah, he's going down to lower leagues again, isn't he?
Oh, is he?
Yeah, I mean, there was a thing come out today. Again, my mate, I told you, I used to go to a lot of Leicester games because he's a season ticket with his old man. And he used to give me his old man's season ticket when his old man was poorly. So he's texted and said that Jamie Vardy wants to go back to grassroots and manage.
Oh, right. Interesting. Okay.
But they're now coming out and saying that he's the best player Leicester have ever had. Now, I don't know how Gary Lineker feels about that. You know what I mean? Because they've had some good players at Leicester.
I suppose he had a longer tenure there than Lineker, though, didn't
12
he?
years. Yeah, he's been there 12 seasons. So it's not a bad start for him. And I'm sure he'll get something. But I cannot see Jamie Vardy staying in the Premier League. You know what I mean? He looks well out of it now.
He does now, but he's scored a few goals, hasn't he? He chipped in with.
He's had a couple of purple patches. You know, I mean, that's what I
He's
said.
he's still got that turn of pace, you know.
But he's only got it twice. That's it.
And he knows where the goal is.
He'd be better than Callum Wilson, I reckon, at this point. You know, unfortunately, I'm sad to say that, but I think Callum's finished.
Kevin Bell saying not to be too arrogant, but if we can't beat Ipswich Town at home, then we don't deserve or probably aren't at the level for Champions League football yet.
I think it's body and mind now.
Realistic.
30 odd games into the season, sometimes things can start to wane on you. It's and again, this is about this not having the depth in squad, not having that same desire to keep going. And like I said, you couldn't have wished for a better game after a drubbing against Villa than to have Ipswich Town at home. So you're absolutely right, mate. If we can't beat these guys, then really speaking, you've got to question the games beyond that.
Yeah,
tough opponents still to come.
If we don't beat Ipswich at home, then you would look at it, and if we don't get top 5 after that, you'd say Bournemouth at home, West Ham at home, Brighton at home, and who's the other one? There's another team, Fulham at home, and Ipswich at home. If you can't win any of those, forget it. You don't do Champions League.
Exactly.
But Stephen Field, absolutely correct. Newcastle usually respond after a loss. And he has open, and the gaffer is back.
Yeah.
Kevin Bell again. I think the full week off will be more important to us than Eddie coming back. 3 games in 6 days is a lot. And even if Eddie was there on Saturday, even if Eddie wasn't there on Saturday, it would still beat Ipswich.
We should do. On paper.
I don't agree with that, too. No, we have to win all our games to stand a good chance at champions. I think 3 home games and we're there.
I mean, technically, we have to win 3 and draw 1 to definitely be there.
But I mean, 9 points puts us on 68 points, and 68 points is never finished.
Yeah,
outside the top 5.
That should be enough. 68, but it would be guaranteed with 10 points if one of the wins is Chelsea. So we don't need to win all the games. That's for sure. I'd like to. But...
And Kevin again is just confirming the stats of the season. Like when we win big, but sometimes we lose big. 4-1 Villa, 4-1 City, 4-1 Bournemouth.
Yeah.
If that comes off, we'll take a beating.
Yeah. And I think that's it. I think sometimes when it's not ticking over, and you can see it's not ticking over, and this has been part of the criticism for the last few seasons, hasn't it? Have we got a plan B? And it doesn't look like at this present moment in time, even though when we're getting hammered, that we have really got a plan B to go to.
When saying you want to go from Wilson to Vardy, give our man.
Yeah, I mean, Vardy has scored 7 more league goals than Wilson though this season.
Well, he's had more minutes as well.
Yeah, well, Wilson's going through a treacle at this point.
So there you go. That's the.
Is that the main?
That's the main chats that have been.
Cool. Let's have a quick look at then potential lineup. This is what I've gone with.
Oh, I can't quite.
I don't know whether you guys are going to be the same. Let's put it on the 3D so we can see where we are. Literally going from the keeper,
Oh, that's fancy.
Palmer's been in goal for them a lot of the time this season. He seems to be the mainstay. Obviously, with James being out, Townsend seems to be the gap filler there. Burgess and O'Shea seem to be their standard centre-back pair. And Twanzebe seems to be their right-back. Kayusti and Morsey seem to be a defensive pairing that they use regular. The only thing that as you can see, they've got lots of extra players because this is where I think it could change.
Apparently, sorry, go on.
Go on, mate.
I was going to say apparently Townsend and Broadhead are doubtful as well.
Oh, right, okay. Well, like I say, Townsend has been the one that's filled in at left back when Leaf hasn't been around.
Right.
So that's going to be an interesting one. So usually, I say usually, this is the three that they played last time with Clark, Enciso, and Johnson. Johnson, I think, will remain, but there's a potential that Clark can drop out. Broadhead will come central, and then Enciso will go out on the left-hand side. And it's either Hurst or Delap up front. Your thoughts? Have you got? I mean, like I say, I didn't realise Townsend was doubtful because I know that they've used
NUFC. Well, one of the NUFC fan.
Townsend currently being assessed.
Right. Okay.
And Broadhead as well. So
came off against Chelsea with a hamstring issue.
That's interesting.
Still needs to be scanned, but there's certainly no guarantee for him to play next week. 25% chance.
Oh, what about Broadhead?
Broadhead has a thigh issue.
Wow.
Currently being assessed, 25%.
They are struggling.
I mean, they've got Burns, Philogene, Ogbeni, Leif Davis, Smodic. I mean, Smodic, you know, he's out till the middle of May.
Jesus.
And he was, you know, the player that they brought to help Delap, and they've been without him for God knows how long. Giro Hutchinson, Calvin Phillips.
Yeah, he's dropped off the line, hasn't he? Big star, Calvin Phillips.
Calf, shin, and heel injury.
Calf, shin, and heel.
Calf, shin, and heel.
Mark Gay has scored more for us than Wilson.
Murrich has got a shoulder injury.
Oh my gosh.
I
mean, it's
you know that they haven't had a lot of luck, to be fair.
Yeah, they're having the same injuries we had last season. Actually,
they are. Yeah, they are.
But who takes their set pieces, Gary? If Leif Davis, because he would normally take them, wouldn't he? Do you know if they have anyone else who can take free kicks?
Well, and see, so I mean, he's a dead, what they class as a dead ball person type of thing. But I mean, he's no great shakes, to be fair. And if I'm honest with you, you know, these guys aren't really the type of team that they look on raw pace to get in and behind. And I think that is where, like, the likes of Liam Delap. So it's always that second ball from what I've seen with Ipswich when I've seen them play. It seems to be very much the fact that, you know, if the ball gets contested within the mid to final third, if they pick up that second ball, it's about what they can create. And again, they're the type of team that will just shoot. They will try and get a yard of space and will just leather it. They're not very technical. They're grafters, and they have ground out a couple of results. But I mean, when you look at, like you've said, you know, their away form, even though it's been better over the last 6 games, it's still not anything to worry about if we play our game. And you know, everybody that's in the chat, if we can't win against this team with all the injuries, with all the upheaval that's being caused, then we've got to really question what's gone wrong, because we've had a week's rest.
Just in terms of set pieces, this season, statistically, penalties have been taken by Hurst, Al-Hamadi and Broadhead. Broadhead's not in. direct free kicks in order of the number they've taken. Broadhead, not in. Phillips, not in. And Ciccio, Hutchinson, and Davies.
Yeah.
And corners and indirect free kicks. Davis, who will be playing, won't he? Phillips, Smodic.
Davis won't be playing. No,
Davis is not playing, is he not?
no, he's suspended.
Ah,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
the other thing, isn't it?
That's right. Sorry, of course.
So,
Yeah. Well,
like I said, they are going and they're dropping like flies when it comes to trying to get 11 players on the field to play in positions.
and again, as Kevin says, a draw is no good for Ipswich.
No, they've got to come out to win.
They've got to win or they're
Yeah,
down.
they're down. That's what I said. There's only one way for Ipswich now, and that's win 5 games.
Yeah,
which only equals West Ham.
Yeah. They've got
where they are now.
to win
So West Ham
5.
have got to lose.
They've got to win 5 games, and they've got to keep after they score the opening goal. They've got to keep on going and
keep
get
on
more
going.
goals.
Yeah.
It's true, actually. They're going to have to win like 4-0.
And like I say, they've got to hope that West Ham don't get another point in 5 games. And that's what I'm saying. You know, it's not mathematically not done yet, but it is, isn't it? You know, I mean, when you're relying on other clubs to sort you out, then you know you're not really into a good thing. Now then, going on to Newcastle, I've got an unchanged squad.
Yeah, me too.
What do you boys think?
Assuming Share is fit.
Do you think we should be doing anything? Let's have a look at dropping down to his knees, diving to the left. Here, I can do all sorts for you.
I'd like to get Gordon back in, but I just don't know how you get him back in at the moment. He's so ineffective on the right, and if you put Barnes on the right, you lose his goal threat. Murphy's had one bad game, but he's had lots of good ones. I don't know. Joe Linton was awful in the last game, but
everybody was awful in the last game.
But he was like the nadir of the team, I would say. But I don't think I would drop him. I think you'd have to go with the same 11, wouldn't you?
Well,
and yet, everybody was saying after the Villa game that one of the reasons that we were so bad was because we haven't done any rotation. And
just going to answer this one from Ron. Ron, I know I've got 13 Ipswich players on board because I said I didn't know, because of the amount of players that are doubtful whether them two that are up on the top of the field there were going to come into the squad. I've picked a squad, but a couple of the players that I've actually picked in the 11 are doubtful. So I've added another 2. I do know that, mate. I'm not trying to to confuse anybody else. I don't have to confuse anybody. I'm confused myself. So yeah, I mean, you hit the nail on the head. But the only people for me that you can actually probably rest, like you said, the Harvey Barnes, because you've got Anthony Gordon coming in, maybe Kieran Trippier for Kraft, because I don't think Kraft would be a miss. I think he's like for like, but I've liked Kieran Trippier in the park. I think he's done really well since he's come back. And like I say, for me, the only problem I found against Aston Villa was Trippier was too aware of Shaw's predicament with Ollie Watkins to actually do his own job. He was caught in two roles. So I can't blame that on Kieran Trippier, even though a lot of their goals came down. Well, I think now all 4 of them came down from that side. So that's one.
Kevin Bell said, I think we can still beat them with 13.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, there's not a lot of talent in Ipswich Town.
There's been some talk that Botman might be on the bench.
Yeah, I think it, as you heard from Jason, I think it was still too early for Villa. I still think it's going to be too early for Ipswich. Yeah. Even though if you want a player to come back, is Ipswich the team to come back to? You know what I mean? It's not going to be a game where you're going to be defending. I feel as though they're going to be one of these teams that go on the low block, stop you playing, and then try and break. And whether they've got players that can do that, then only time will tell. So is it going to be a case of, well, who do you drop though? Do you drop down Burn? I think again,
Fabian
he's
Schär probably if he's in.
yeah,
If he's not,
but
yeah.
but we have the same trouble then of Botman coming in and playing a left footer on that right hand side. Still doesn't look comfortable to me because he has to turn his body 360 type of thing to get the ball out to the left hand side. And I think for anybody that can see that, once they block that foot off, you're going back the same way. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure yet, and I would say I'm still out on having.
The jury's out.
Yeah,
we do need
with
another
Botman.
right
I don't think he's the world's best footballer. I think he's a great defender. I just don't think he's the world's best confident footballer to have the ball at his feet in a tight situation. And for me, I was gonna come across this. The other thing that I've noticed, and again, I don't know whether this is what Eddie's seen. When you look at all the analysts now, where they take every single kick and they pick it apart. Popey goes long 90% of the time these days. He doesn't play around the box anymore. Hasn't done for a while. The last 5 or 6 games. Is that something that you think Eddie's and the team have seen, where we've lost the ball in the defensive third? And he said, you know what? Let's compete and contest in the final third. We always seem to aim for J7, even though he never gets off the bloody floor.
Except the only thing we're going along is you're relying on Isaac to win balls under combat.
But you're not, because that's what I just said. He aims for J7.
No. But I'm saying if he decide not to go for J7,
yeah. Well, that's what I said.
Because he is the only one who's a physical presence, isn't he?
Yeah, I see. For me, I always look at when he goes for J7 and you're looking for a flick on. You've got Harvey Barnes that sits in, then you've got Tonali that comes round, and Bruno sits in the half space to try and pick up any second pieces. Jay Murphy sits out on the right hand side, so it's contested mainly on our inside left position, and you're always wanting Isaac to be central. And I think in the past, I mean, you're right, because in the past, what we've had players just looking for Isaac. Isaac will come away from that central zone, and then you've got nobody hitting that central zone when he comes away from it. And I just think, now Harvey Barnes has been playing, and he's been playing consistently well. I mean, you're never gonna come into a team and just turn it round. But I think he's been one of our really bright players. After losing Hall, after losing Gordon down that left-hand side, we all thought it was going to be an issue. And yet Tino Livramento and Harvey Barnes, I think, have come in, and it's like they've played there all season. So I don't think we've lost anything. If you were to look at the nooks and our setup, if anything, I think bringing Harvey Barnes and Tino Livramento in, it's actually developed the squad, because they all move together up the park at the same pace, rather than just hoofing it. Gordon goes and gets it, but then he's gone that quick that we've got nobody backing him up. So I think it's been a real positive when it comes to a team effort.
Yeah, well, I mean, I wouldn't, if you were considering resting, call it what you will, trips tomorrow, I wouldn't be averse to Tino coming back on the right and Target on the left, because a lot of people don't rate Target, but I do.
So you're thinking of potentially Target into here for Tino. Bringing Tino back on the right.
Yeah.
Well,
okay.
And then you've got Trips on the bench.
What about Fabian Schär's situation, though? We have to think about that.
Well, that'll be Kraft going.
Then Kraft could go in the middle, I guess. You could do that.
Yeah.
So what, you want Crafty in here?
I'm not saying it's what I want, but it's an option.
It's an option, exactly. If you want a little bit of pace as well.
Because,
like
and I'm just thinking about rotation, so we're not knackering them before we get to the Chelsea and Arsenal games.
He's definitely been carrying something, hasn't he, old Schär, I think.
Yeah, well, he wasn't pictured in any of the training.
Oh, right.
Well, let's drop him out then. So we'll put Crafty in there. So Target and Tino over. You've got a new partnership building here then. You change nothing in the middle? Would you not bring Miley in for J7 or something like that?
I think that's just a risk, a bridge too far.
Yeah, I think I would love Miley to start, but I think I don't know. Jonas has got something to prove in this game. I think he'll be well up for it.
Yeah, John Eric there is saying Botman. And like I say, we heard that he was obviously training with the squad, but
Well, he
not
was
doing
training
all
last
of
week.
that.
Well, they said
Yeah.
he wasn't going to be fit, but he could be in contention for Saturday.
Yeah. So, like I say, I think he probably he may be on the bench. I can't see him being as in the starting 11 though. So, any takers for Harvey Barnes Gordon swap?
No, I think it'll be very, very harsh on Harvey Barnes. And let's face it, he cannot possibly be burnt out.
And
No.
I think the thing is that Barnes got the even got the assist against Villa, didn't he? So
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think you can. Leave
And
him.
Barnes is so much a confidence player. If you take him out, I think you're gonna drop his head again because, like I say, out of everybody that's come into the side because of injuries or suspensions, I think he's been one of the shining lights. To be
Has he
fair,
got 9?
There's the kind of phrase saying that's what should have happened last week. Trips is 35 and shouldn't have played 3 games in 6 days, especially against Villa's pace.
Yeah, like I said, I think he was caught in two minds. If you have a look at the replays, there's a lot of times where he's literally halfway between his player and Ollie Watkins or Rogers, who's come whichever side he'd come across from.
Well, you know what, Win? I probably would keep Trippier in because I just think he has had that week's rest, and I think he is the better player than Target, and Tino's playing well on the left, and he's got that link up with Barnes. So for me, I would probably stick with. I would probably bring Kraft in if Shaw's not 100%, but I wouldn't bring Target in. I'd have him on the bench.
Okay.
Kevin's saying there, I think we should stay unchanged. Everyone that played poorly last weekend will be desperate to put it right.
Well, I think sometimes the manager has to give them the chance to put it right as well.
Yeah.
You know, the head coach needs to have a bit of, because at the end of the day, it's going to be the side that goes against the Chelseas and the Arsenals, isn't it? You know what I mean? So they do need to prove that it was just a one-off. It was a blip against Villa, and let's see what they can do. So we'll keep Isak in, even though there's a potential that he is still carrying this groin. Because, like I say, Wilson hasn't really given us much, and they obviously don't believe Asula can against even the lesser sides. So
I don't think Asula's Premier League, not at the moment.
Not at the moment. No, I totally agree. And obviously, Jacob Murphy again didn't have a brilliant game, but his contributions this season have been really good. Is it 19, isn't it now? Goals and assists, I think he's on.
Yeah.
Going for Mo Salah's throat, I think. Only joking. I wished. So we've got 4 extra players on the pitch that potentially could come in for injuries. Are you guys happy with what we've got there? Then are you going to go with Crafty coming in and Target coming in for this game?
Well, not for me.
No. I mean, I'm just pointing out that that's an option. But I think the way Tino and Barnes have been linking up, if you're leaving Barnes in, I'd probably leave Tino there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's drop that one in there.
And then you've got Kraft to if you
And then you're not disrupting the back four too much.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, like I say, you also get a little bit of pace. I mean, Shaw's the guy who can pass the ball, isn't he, at the back?
Yeah.
He's the 50-yard man that can play into the spaces. So the opposition defence are always going to be, thoughtful when he's got space to do that. And like I say, the way these guys have set up, as Win has already said, they've got to come out to win. So they will play on the what you class as the half block, if you like, and they will go and try and make it really awkward for us playing 5 in midfield. I would have thought 4-5-1, very similar to the way Newcastle set up, and try and hit us on the break. But again, it all depends on the fitness of the likes of Delap, Broadhead, Hurst, and several others, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
Anything you want to add, DX? Anything that you've seen from Ipswich that maybe we can feel. I mean, there's obviously nobody apart from Delap that would even get into the squad, is there?
No, I think Delap obviously has done very well for them, and if he's fit, that does give them a big goal threat. He's quite powerful, isn't he? But he's not pacey, is he? He's a big, strong striker, so that might suit Dan Burn, and if he plays Shah, maybe because they're quite slow defenders. And other than him, I don't think Hurst scored 2 goals. I think trying to figure out who else has got them goals actually, but I don't
Not
think
many.
yeah, they didn't have too many other goal threats. Just looking down the list, Sammy Schmodix has got 3.
Yeah.
There's no one else that's got more than 3, and Schmodix is injured as well. So,
I tell you who I've been slightly disappointed with for Ipswich, because when Ciso was at Brighton,
Yeah.
I thought he looked a bit of a player, man.
He looked a bit of a bright star, didn't he?
You know,
he doesn't. He's only 21, isn't he?
Yeah, and exactly. He's only 21. And he's just on loan. But I would have seriously looked at him, you know, as backup midfield for us, if we're looking to get some strength and depth on the bench, because I think he's got a trick up his sleeve. He's quick. He's intelligent. I kind of rate him a bit, so I would keep my eye on him tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean they haven't got a lot, have they? They've got
he hadn't got anybody to play with. That's the thing, and I can imagine him playing alongside Sandro and performing.
Be hard to buy players from Brighton now, though, because I think they are the next rung of clubs, aren't they? And they've had a sort of, I know we're going off topic a bit. They've had a bit of a funny, stilted run of seasons, haven't they? Where they're finishing about 10th every season. They don't seem to be making any progress there.
Yeah, they can't just make that final step.
But they spent over 200 million in the summer, so I thought maybe they would.
Maybe they'll move something. Yeah.
Cracked on, but they haven't really.
Yeah, it is an interesting one. Just again, I was just having a quick look at some general stats from Ipswich. Played 33, scored only 33 goals, conceded 71, 24 assists. Goals per game, obviously 1. Penalty goals, 2 out of 2. Free kick goals, not 1 out of 10 that they've had. Goals from inside the box, 26 out of 190. Shots, goals from outside the box, 6 out of 125. So again, you can see the amount of shots outside the box they get or try. They've had 11 left-footed goals, 17 right-footed goals, 4 headed goals. They create 1.7 big chances per game, and they miss 1.1. Total shots per game is just under 10. Shots on target per game is 3.5. Shots off target, 3.5. Block shots, 2.7. I mean, the rest of it's quite dribble, to be fair. And going on to some of their pass accuracies, just on 40%, which is quite poor, really. When you look at, passing across the hole, nothing really good there. And I think defending speaks for itself when you look at the amount of goals they've conceded. Only 2 clean sheets this season so far. But you know what I was going to ask you? We did quite a nice tribute to Kevin Keegan. I thought this would have been the ideal weekend to do a Sir Bobby tribute. Obviously, with having history in both clubs.
And I think War Flags will have that very much in mind.
I heard a rumour, and I hope it's not true, that for this game they've got a massive Titus Bramble flag that they're going to...
Really? Really? Are you sure, sir?
Yeah. No, not really. That would be good, though, wouldn't it?
Oh my God! It'll be the biggest P-take of the year, mate.
The referee for the game is Michael Salisbury,
yeah,
who's only refereed us once this season, which was a 1-0 win against West Ham. And if you remember, he was getting brickbats that game.
We didn't give them a penalty, did he?
For allowing... No, he was getting brickbats from our fans for allowing West Ham to kick us to bits.
Yeah.
Bruno could have got sent off because he was getting no protection at all, and eventually, retaliated.
But I've noticed with Bruno in recent games, he seems to be getting a little bit, what's the word? Angsty.
Tetchy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like a red card could be coming up for this guy. I hope not against Ipswich. Save it for Everton when we're 3-0 up and with 10 to go or whatever. But yeah, he's causing some issues. I think he hasn't been playing that well, and I think he's getting distracted in games. Maybe opposition teams have realised you can get to him a little bit if you just keep nudging him around and saying a few words in Portuguese or something.
Yeah, exactly. Right then, so obviously this is Chris's
12 appearances for Mr. Salisbury, 33 yellows.
That's quite low.
And 2 reds, which is not bad at all.
Not bad. I'm going to say I've just been having a look at his stats. Was it something like three cards a game or something silly like
Yeah,
that?
less than 3 cards,
Yeah.
2.75.
Yeah, something crazy like that. So it's not bad. Right then, players that have played for both Ipswich and Newcastle.
Or should we name him?
Jacob Murphy.
Okay.
Did he play for Ipswich?
Well, I was saying him from Ipswich.
No, Norwich.
No, Norwich.
Kieran
I
Dyer.
was gonna say.
Oh, of
Are
course
you
it was
sure
Norwich.
it wasn't? Are you sure it wasn't Daryl Murphy you're talking about?
Oh, there you go. Murphy. Got it right.
No, I knew I'm East Anglia. That's where I'm. Norwich, Ipswich.
And Kieran.
Of course, it was Norwich. Kieran Dyer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kieran Dyer. Titus Bramble, who we've already mentioned.
Mentioned it. Right, yeah.
Darren Ambrose.
Darren Ambrose, yeah.
Yeah.
Who
Anybody
else?
else?
One of my selfie chums.
Trying to think who else we've signed from Ipswich or who we sold to Ipswich.
No idea.
Chrissy Wood.
After that.
Chris Wood.
Again,
Did he
shut
play
up,
for
man.
Ipswich?
He's played for everybody.
Yeah. Chrissy Wood was at
Bloody hell.
Ipswich Town in 2014. Played 8 times for them.
Wow.
Andros Townsend.
Did he play for Ipswich?
Yeah, he
Didn't
played
know
for
that.
Ipswich in 2010. Played 13 games for them.
Wow, okay.
Stevie Taylor. He
No.
played for 3 games for them.
Oh, he's probably injured for the rest.
Yeah, I'm going to say he's totally injured for the rest. Danny Simpson, another one, in 2007.
Oh, I
Played
didn't
8
even know
times. Daryl Murphy, as we've just said. Alex Matty. Shefki Kuki. He seems to have gone to every team that
Shut up,
we've been
man.
against.
The number of times these same names come
It
up
is.
with
That's what I
every
said.
club.
2003 to 2007, he made 83 appearances for them. A
Wow.
lot more than he played for us.
Aye.
Marlon Harwood played 6
played for
times in
Ipswich,
98.
God,
Ryan
that's-
Fraser was there as well in 2015, played 22 games for them. Kieran Dyer.
Kieran
in
Dyer, obviously. yeah.
95
One of the
appearances. Jack
Proper
Colback. He played 50 times for them in between 09 and 10.
Oh.
Michael Chopra. There you go. 11 and 12.
Chops was there.
78 appearances for them. I think 18 goals he scored for them and 5 assists.
Not
Bramble, as you've said. Lee Bowyer, he played 2011, 29 games for them. Leon Best, Richard Appleby, and Darren Ambrose. There you go.
God,
That's
okay.
all of them.
Some real
Quite a
surprises.
few. Yeah, quite a few.
Surprised by Townsend and a few of the others. Some pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah,
know
it
that.
has been, like I say, you're quite right though, Win. You know, we seem to have lots of players that have been to lots of clubs in their time that we've come against, and it's the names just keep rebounding. Right then, I think that is it. That is the review done. Sorry, the preview done. What? Anything that you guys want to add?
No, just again, must win game.
Yeah, absolutely.
And have we finally kicked the losing must win game mentality? Because we appear to have done the last couple of months. Well, not couple of months, 5 or 6 weeks. And let's hope it's still out the door.
Yeah.
Right then, so Kev's asking for predictions. I can just see coming in the chat there, and I haven't given mine yet.
Oh, and
there's a few I think we're still missing. If you
Let's
haven't
have a
given
look.
it,
I've predicted 10-1.
I will tell you who we are
10-1.
missing.
Wow.
I'm so far down the table. I thought I had to go drastic.
You're just going to go
Right.
big style now.
10-1.
not gonna be 10.
Niall Powell, haven't seen anywhere yet.
No.
Mighty Win isn't in yet.
Hey, wait, what was you going with, Mike?
I haven't quite decided yet. But what I'm gonna go slightly offbeat here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go 7-0.
Oh, that is
7-0.
huge.
Wow.
You're a risky man.
Simply because going back to the Villa game when I went 6-0, following the 1, 2, 3,
Yeah.
4, 5 in consecutive games, I'm saying we had a hiccup at Villa, and we'll take it up now. And if we get 7, then we'll go above City's goal difference.
Right. Okay. So, if you look at some of the odds, then Newcastle to win is 1-3. 63% stats say that Newcastle are going to win. Ipswich Town to win is 10s. 19% think that they're going to win. A draw is 5-6. Again, nothing of any shake. But the biggest thing that gets me, goals over 4.5. You get good odds, 3.5. If you want goals over 4.5. So I think there's going to be quite a few in there. And fail to score has even got quite a good one, but I don't think there's going to be any bets on that. Newcastle to get a clean sheet is 38%, and obviously 94% for Ipswich to concede more than one goal, and it goes all the way down to over 3.5 goals at 25%. So, like I say, if you want to throw a bet on, it looks very much like it's going to be somewhere around that. And looking at the odds when it comes to Newcastle scoring, if you want to put a bet on, it seems as if between 31 in the 9 minutes, this is so 9 minutes, 31 minutes to 40, Newcastle seem to be scoring a lot more. 17% there for Ipswich. If they were to score, it's just at the start. Sorry, just at the end of the first half or the start of the second half, and in the final 10 minutes seems to be where they come strong. So if anybody's looking to put a bet on, there you go. Interesting one. Now,
so what are you going for then, Gary?
So I had a thing in my head because I was waiting for to see what people were going for, because, like I say, you've got to feel that this could be a Sheffield United potentially, with it being a lot of goals. But the way Isaac's been playing, for me, he hasn't been really shaking any sticks. So, and even, taking more of his difficult chances than he was his easy chances. So I'm going to be a little bit more reserved, and I'm going to say 4. I'm going to go 4-0.
Here's a question for you, though.
4-0.
What if they decide to rest Isaac because he's not 100%? They go, okay, Wilson comes in, he bangs in a hat-trick. Then what do you do for the next game?
You still put Isaac in.
Yeah, I agree.
Because for a fact, if he goes back to back after playing 90 minutes, he's going to be out for the rest of the season.
Yeah, exactly. It's good.
Oh dear. But
so we haven't had his Lord and Master's prediction yet.
No, he's probably going to be waiting for me, because he's just pipping me at the post at the minute.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
what if he just keeps predicting the same result as you every time?
I wouldn't say he's predicting the same result, but like I say, he's a crafty bear. You know what I mean? If I put mine in now, if he goes the same as me, he's always going.
Don't forget,
to win,
you can always change it up till 3 o'clock.
Don't worry, I will. No, so yeah, I have a feeling that there's going to be a few goals on this one.
Niall Powell, who hasn't even been in the chat today, I haven't seen Niall for a while, actually.
No, mate.
Haven't got Niall Powell, haven't got RG Fox.
Now, has there anybody seen any news recently that we can just report on while we're?
There was one, wasn't there? There's a young player from Rangers, not massive news, but we're supposed to be looking at this young. I'm just going to find his name because it slipped my mind right now.
Is that Jordan Barara?
That's the one.
Yeah. Well, again, and it's really funny, isn't it? I mean, he does feel like a Paul Mitchell type side in this. But I am in, and I know Mighty Win is exactly the same as the way in this vein. We don't hear about transfers. A lot of the time that come through our door, it's stuff that you won't even heard of. but he's a Colombian, isn't he? This Jordan Barrera.
I've actually no, it was a different player. That's a different one to the one I've
Oh,
heard.
right, okay.
Oliver
Okay.
Goodbrand was the one that I
Oh, right, okay.
arranged.
I'd heard about this Jordan Barrera. He's a
Okay.
19-year-old, a Colombian talent. And I think he plays for, is it Napoli? No, it could. I think it's Napoli that's actually in there with us. So I don't know where this lad's coming from.
Right.
But I know it's come from an Italian journalist saying
Atletico Junior, apparently.
that. Oh, right, okay, interesting. Yeah, I don't like I say, I don't know anything about the lad. It's just something that I'd seen in passing type of stuff. Right.
The only other thing I would say is anybody who hasn't signed the petition yet, get it signed.
How many signatures do you have now, Win?
Sorry?
Have you checked?
How many tickets have you got now?
Let's have
Probably 3.
No. Well, the thing was, I didn't realise it wasn't actually. People were clicking on it and it wasn't going through, but it is now.
Ah, right.
And we have now got 16 verified.
Okay.
Hey, there you go. And don't forget, guys, we are with you at 9:10 tomorrow morning for the presser. And obviously, it sounds like it's going to be Eddie Howe back at the helm. So it'll be interesting to see. Yeah, it's just, I suppose we'll get a good idea of how he is from the presser. So until then, thank you, DX. Thank you, Mighty Win, as always, my right-hand man. We'll see you tomorrow if you're with us.
Yep. See you for the presser.
Come on.
How are you, the lad?
There you go. Lads and lasses. See you later.